Well, thank you, Wayne, and thank all of you for coming out this morning. Before I introduce our new athletics director, I want to thank a couple of folks. First, I'd like to thank Paul Griffin. For the past 2.5 months, Paul has provided tremendous leadership for the Department of Athletics. In addition to all of the other things that he had on his plate, he has been filling that role. He helped with led the construction of the McCamish Basketball Pavilion and the Ken Byers Tennis Center, which we opened yesterday. And Paul, thank you for your leadership. Thanks for everything you've done. I also want to thank the search committee, and in particular Steve Zelnak. Steve has chaired the search committee and spent an incredible amount of time. He spent a huge amount of time, energy, and effort devoted to this process, and we're extremely pleased with where we are, and I'm really grateful for your leadership and everything that you have and continue to do for Georgia Tech. Steve, thank you. When the search committee first met 10 weeks ago, we established what we thought were the most important criteria for the new athletics director at Georgia Tech. What we were looking for was someone with a record of the highest possible integrity, someone who could effectively reconnect with our fan base and alumni, someone who had demonstrated success of building successful athletic programs, someone who had experience developing student athletes in a very challenging academic environment, someone who had unassailable credibility, and someone who could enthusiastically embrace the unique institution that is Georgia Tech. I'm firmly convinced that following a national search, we found just such an individual. Mike Bobinski will serve as the Institute's Director of Athletics, presiding over a program that has over 400 student athletes and 17 NCAA varsity sports. Today, I wanted to share a little bit about the search process, and most importantly, to give you an opportunity to meet Mike and to learn more about him. For the past 12 years, Mike Bobinski has served as the Associate Vice President and Athletic Director at Xavier University in Cincinnati, Ohio, overseeing a broad-based athletic program of 18 NCAA sports. During his time at Xavier, his teams have participated in 44 NCAA tournaments across 9 sports and have won 26 conference championships. He's increased the philanthropy of the athletics department at Xavier by a factor of 5. He's a recognized leader among athletic directors across the country, having served as the on the NCAA Management Council and president of the 1AAA Athletic Directors Association, and is currently serving as the Men's Basketball Committee Chair. He has experience in successfully developing student athletes and has recently achieved a graduation rate at Xavier of 97%, which is the 11th highest in the country. Most importantly, Mike is an individual of unassailable integrity who has a reputation for being fair, straightforward, and honest in all of his dealings. I believe that his personal integrity and leadership skills, combined with a successful track record in athletics, business, and other areas, uniquely qualify him to lead Georgia Tech athletics. Mike is joining Georgia Tech at a time of tremendous growth and positive momentum. New facilities, including the Zelnak Basketball Practice Facility, the McCamish Pavilion, the John and Mary Brock Football Practice Facility, and the recently opened Ken Byers Tennis Center, position Georgia Tech in a great place on a go-forward basis. We have much to be proud of, a tremendous legacy of history here at Georgia Tech, both academically and athletically. And I'm sure that Mike can lead us on in that direction in the future. Ladies and gentlemen, Georgia Tech's next athletic director, Mike Bobinski.
Well, that was very nice. Thank you, President Peterson, very much. Those were wonderful words, and I really, really appreciate the opportunity to be here. Let me just say this. I am so sincerely grateful and honestly humbled by the opportunity to serve as Georgia Tech's next athletic director. I recognize that significant responsibility comes with this position, and I don't take that lightly at all. I'll work every day to build upon Georgia Tech's proud history of success and its tradition of excellence. The fact that I'm now part of a family that includes folks like John Heisman, Bobby Dodd, Homer Rice, Bobby Crimmins, and so on and so forth is really an awesome thought and something that I'm not sure I ever anticipated at any point in my career, but I'm so thankful to have that opportunity, and I will not let any of you down in fulfilling that. Before I go any further, a couple of acknowledgments that I'd like to offer. First of all, President Peterson, I could not be more impressed with his vision for Georgia Tech, his leadership, his energy, his passion for the place, and for his wisdom in offering me this opportunity. It's a heck of a guy over here. Finally, and additionally, as he pointed out, Steve Zelnick. The search that he ran was very efficient, very thorough. He is right to the point, and I appreciate that. It's sort of the way I like to operate, Steve, so I think we're on sort of on the same wavelength. But all the members of the search committee, what impressed me the most was the passion they showed for Georgia Tech. I mean, in this business, when you're in intercollegiate athletics, the very first prerequisite for having success is having people of passion in and around a program. And when I saw the way that people that were on the search committee cared about Georgia Tech and were interested in its success moving forward, I said, you know what, we've got a fighting chance here. This has got a chance to be something very special. And so thank you all for the time that you put into this and for the energy and the passion that you showed for Georgia Tech. I would be remiss if I didn't also give a quick word to my colleagues back at Xavier. Father Michael Graham, who I've had the privilege to work with at Xavier for more than a decade. Under his leadership, Xavier has undergone unprecedented and transformative change. And it's been my great privilege to work with talented folks over the course of my entire time there, and I'm really proud of what we've been able to accomplish. It's not an easy place to leave. As I've said for many years, it would take an exceptional opportunity for me to no longer be at Xavier, and I think I found one at this point in time. So but I'm very grateful to all my colleagues back there and thank them for everything that we've accomplished together over the years. And I also would like to thank Paul Griffin, who I've known for some time and have had a chance to work with a little more closely this last couple of years. You know, his willingness and ability to take over and sort of steer the ship here in this transition period is invaluable to our program, and I'll continue to count on that until I actually arrive here on April 1st. So, Paul, thank you so much, and I look forward to working with you closely, not just in these next couple of months, but once I get here. But thank you so much. My priorities as we move forward here at Georgia Tech once I get started. First of all, we've got to make sure in athletics that we're aligned with the vision, with the mission of Georgia Tech. We can't be doing our own thing here and think we're going to be successful. We've got to be part of the broader place, and we intend to do that, and we will do that. We're going to focus on the academic achievement and the personal growth and development of our student athletes. Those are our priorities at Xavier. Those are our priorities at Georgia Tech. It'll be first and foremost in our thinking and in our actions each and every day. We're going to operate with the highest level of integrity. We're going to pay attention to NCAA, ACC, Georgia Tech regulations, and they're going to become part of how we do our work every day. They're not things to be worked around or obstacles to jump over. They're just the world we live in, and we've got to embrace that and do things the right way each and every day, and we will. I want our student athletes, our coaches, and our staff to represent Georgia Tech each and every day in a way that our extended family will be very proud of, as people, as student athletes, and finally as competitors. At the end of the day, the last priority is we want to win. We want to win a lot. You'll find this out about me in a big hurry. I much prefer winning to the alternative. I am a very, very competitive person. I have never learned how to feel good about moral victories or losing. I like to win, and we're going to find a way to win, but we're going to do it in the right way, in a way that we'll never have to apologize for, and I'm very excited about those possibilities. To achieve the success that I think we can accomplish here at Georgia Tech, we need the help of many. As President Peterson pointed out, a lot of good things have happened here. The Zelnick practice facility, McCamish Pavilion, the Byers Tennis Center that opened yesterday, the Brock Indoor Football Facility. Lots of great things have happened. A lot of good things have been done financially to put us in a position to at least move forward. But the world around us keeps moving. It's in motion at all times. We need the help of everybody to move this thing in the right direction. So in order for things to get where we need them to be, the Georgia Tech community, and by the Georgia Tech community, I mean everybody. I mean everybody in this room. I mean our students. I mean our faculty. I mean our alums. Everybody that's in and around, our former student athletes, very importantly. Folks that have any interest in Georgia Tech or that we can generate an interest in Georgia Tech about, we need them with us. And what we need them to do is to be together. This competing in college athletics at the highest level is an all-in deal. You can't do it if you're fractured. We've got to be together. We've got to have a united front and a concerted effort to move ourselves in a certain direction. So we've got to be together. We're going to need the support of those folks, and we're going to need the involvement of those folks. There's no reason that can't and shouldn't happen here at Georgia Tech. And if we do those things, we'll enjoy the success that we all, I believe, aspire to, and I know I certainly believe is possible as I come here to Georgia Tech. Those are the characteristics, honestly, that define the finest athletic programs in the country. And that's what should define Georgia Tech as we move forward, and I believe it will. I'm really excited to join the Georgia Tech community. I mean, I can't tell you what a great day this is for me. As I considered the opportunity, and President Peterson also alluded to this, it struck me that there has never been a better time to be at Georgia Tech. Absolutely never. In its history, this is the best time for Georgia Tech in every way. And as a corollary to that, it's the best time to be an athletic director at Georgia Tech. Again, so many great things have happened. This is a dynamic and vibrant place, and it's one of the very few places in the country with the capacity to be elite academically and compete successfully at the very highest level. And that, to me, is very energizing and very exciting. With that, I'm going to conclude with one thing, and that's go Jackets, and let's have some questions here.
Rod McKenzie with GoJackets.com.
Yes, sir.
Until you assumed the directorship on April 1st,
Yes.
What will your role be with Georgia Tech?
Well, you know, Rod, it's one of those things, when you take a new job, it's hard to keep your attention focused on anything but that, because obviously this is where I'm going to be and where I intend to be. What I will do, my role will be to be available to Paul, to President Peterson, to anybody here at Georgia Tech that needs me for any issue that might arise. As I said earlier, I'm going to trust Paul, and I do trust Paul completely to keep things moving in a positive direction. I told our coaches, I told our staff, though, that if they truly need me at any point in time, you know, in today's world, we're all connected. You know, we're connected 24 hours a day in every way. I'll be as available as anybody needs me to be. I've got certain things that are going to take me and require me to be in certain places. I'm going to be in Atlanta a fair amount of time here with the basketball committee work. But I'll be available, and believe me, I'll have one eye on what's happening here at Georgia Tech from this moment forward.
Nathan Muller from therumbleseat.com.
Hey, Nathan.
Nice to meet you.
You too.
What are your expectations for the job in general and the football program especially?
Expectations for the job in general? Well, that's a broad question. My expectation for the job is that, honestly, it's going to take some hard work. But every job that you're going to do well takes hard work. So I'm excited about the opportunity to sort of dive into that. Get my expectations, first and foremost, is that I need to meet a lot of people. I need to understand what Georgia Tech is and why things are as they are right now. I need to get the lay of the land, again, meet the people that are important to this program, and then put together a strategy collectively with all of our folks to help move things in the right direction. That's my first and foremost expectation. Beyond that, I believe that I'm joining a place that's got a lot of talented people here right now. I think we've got great coaches. We've got a talented staff, a committed staff. That part, and that's a great starting place. I mean, when you've got the right people and you've got good people around you, you've got a fighting chance to do things very well, and I think that's exactly what will happen. My expectations for Georgia Tech football, you know, we've been in, is it 16 bowl games in a row, Paul? Something like that. That's not a bad place to start, I think, but there's always a chance to move things to a higher level, and I think that will be our goal each and every day. I mean, you'll find this about me also. I'm never satisfied with where we are at a point in time. I always believe there are ways to find improvement and to work hard to find those competitive advantages that we might have here at Georgia Tech, and we'll set about doing that from the very first day. Thank you. Sure.
Yeah, Paul Newberry from Associated Press. Welcome
Paul.
aboard.
Thank you.
What is there advantages or disadvantages coming from a school that does not have a football program to come to a school, obviously, that's in one of the BCS conferences?
Sure. I don't know if there are advantages or disadvantages. You know, I spent the first nearly 15 years of my career around football programs at Notre Dame, at the Naval Academy, at the University of Akron when I was the athletic director. Varying levels of success. You know, at Notre Dame, my last year there, we were undefeated, won the national championship. At Navy, we were in the midst of a significant rebuilding project that Coach Johnson had a chance to really take to a next level when he came following my departure there. At Akron, likewise, we were a complete rebuild. In the meantime, though, you know, as I've moved on to Xavier, it's been good for me because I've been able to sort of be involved with the entire realm of college football. I watch 15 games a weekend because I don't have to worry about my team. Well, that's going to change now. Now I've got my team. I don't care about those other 15 schools anymore. I care about one team and one team only at this point. So I just think it's, that part is exciting to me. I've looked for this opportunity. I've been excited about the opportunity to rejoin the football community. It's exciting to me. In college athletics today, as an athletic director, if you haven't stayed plugged in to college football and what's going on in college football, you've been asleep. I mean, it is obviously driven so many of the decisions that have been made, conference alignment, television deals, all of that is driven around the sport of college football, and I've stayed closely plugged into that throughout the time here. So I feel very confident, very comfortable, and excited to get back into the world of college football. It's a great moment for me.
Hey, Mike. I'm Ken Seguer with the Journal-Constitution.
Hey, Ken.
How are you?
Good, thanks.
Good. What was the process of your getting connected with Georgia Tech?
Well, Steve, we had a phone call some time ago, a couple weeks ago. Had an introductory phone call, and from there, it was a very methodical and orderly and thorough process. I mean, the Georgia Tech folks, as you would expect, reflective of the place, they went about it, and I'm certain that I was turned upside down and shaken from every direction before we arrived at this point, and that's great. I welcome that, but it was a very thorough process. I actually had a chance to be here in Atlanta last weekend, and that was all good. And and from there we moved rather quickly from that point forward. But it was a very thorough and complete process. I had a chance to gain a lot of information. I think Steve and President Peterson and the search committee had a chance to gain a lot of information about me, and ultimately it turned out to be the right fit on both sides, and a very happy ending in my book.
Open it up for general questions.
President Mouse, I'm curious, you said that you weren't looking to leave Xavier. I'm curious, was the opportunity to help oversee, a BCS conference school, was that a challenge that maybe you thought if I were to leave, that'd be one of the things that I would want to
Absolutely, absolutely, Ken. That's the only way I think I would have considered leaving. Again, I've been very fortunate during my time at Xavier. It's been awesome. We've accomplished a lot of great things, and there are more to come. But professionally, for me, this was in an arena that I wanted to return to. I just felt like that was what was right for me at this point in my career, and this opportunity at a place that combines elite academics, athletics at the highest level. There are not that many out there, and so it had to be the right fit, and Georgia Tech represents that right fit for me, and I'm very fortunate that we met, the two ships met in the night, and here we are. It worked out very, very well. Paul?
Yes. How do you expect to, obviously there's been some challenges here in terms of drawing fans, and it's a tough market, obviously.
Sure.
I mean, we're in a city too with professional sports, and there's a lot going on. And this week, obviously, with the Falcons, takes a lot of the attention.
Sure.
But what's your thoughts on how to get more people interested and get more people in the seats in this environment?
Sure. Paul, getting more people in the seats in any sport is not, it's not a thing, it's not an event, it's not something that, there's not one answer to that, because if there was one answer, it would already have been done. I mean, we got a lot of smart people here. I think what it is over time is finding a way to create sort of a feel, create an energy, create an environment around your program that people want to be part of. You've got to have a positive vibe. You have something that people actually feel invited to be part of. Reconnecting with our alumni association, the Georgia Tech grads. I mean, the tremendous passion that I've come to appreciate that Georgia Tech folks have for this institution and what it's meant to them in their lives, again, is a great starting point. Passion is the very first prerequisite for having people in the stands, and the fact that exists in some levels already is a very, very positive thing for me. We've got to find a way, again, to tell our story in a positive way, reach those folks in whatever the most effective means are, but actually reach out to them. We've got to be visible. We've got to be engaged. We can't sit here within the walls of this building and expect folks to come join us. We've got to get out to them and invite them to be part of what we're trying to build here, and that's everybody's job. Sort of marketing our program, building interest in our program is something that we need to do each and every day. It's not sending out a fancy brochure. It's not coming up with it. It's working at it every day, connecting with people, asking people to be part of it, and then honestly obviously being good. When you're in a pro market, you've got to be good. You've got to have a program that people want to be part of. People like to be around success. I get that, and we intend to have success and provide something for people that'll be great to be part of. And beyond that, Paul, it's also it's our alumni, the greater Atlanta community, but it's also our students. I mean, our students need to own our teams. I mean, it's part of their experience. As years go by, what they'll experience in and around Georgia Tech athletic events, football, basketball, you name it, will be part of what creates the fabric of their time here at Georgia Tech, in addition to the wonderful academics and everything else that they do. And to the extent that we can connect with them early on in their time and have them really embrace our programs, we'll work hard at all of those things. I think it's a combination of a lot of things to fill that stadium, which we will work hard to do.
As President Peterson mentioned, we've got a lot of the wonderful facilities here, and we've solved a lot of problems as far as that goes over the years. So what would you say is your main focus and your main concern right now?
Well, Nathan, I would say this. My first and initial focus would be to just sort of get my arms around things. I can't presume to come in here and give you 3 magic bullets or 3 magic things are going to happen that are going to change things overnight. I've got to get a sense of who we are and why we are who we are. Once we do that, the priority will be then, okay, how do we move from where we are today to where we want to be? Putting together a plan that makes sense, that's based in reality, but that moves us in a really positive direction, that will be my priority. I really believe that with the facilities that we have right now, not that there aren't other things that can and should get done and will get done as time goes by, and other things that will emerge, we have a great starting point. I think I referred to it with President Peterson and Steve and the committee as a great launching point here to really take our programs to a higher level. And that to me is really exciting. It's what I've been good at over my career. I mean, that's just a fact of life. I've been able to take organizations and move them to a higher level of performance, and I would presume to, or I would certainly have it my objective to over time have that same impact here at Georgia Tech. That'll be my goal. It won't be me doing it. It'll be all of us doing it. But I'll certainly have a role in sort of establishing that vision and helping drive that process.
I'm Mark Bradley from the Atlanta Journal and Constitution. Your flagship program at X went through a lot of changes over time. I could probably look this up, but just being lazy. Which of the basketball coaches did you hire? Did you hire Mata and then?
I hired Mata. I hired Chris Mack. And when I was there, when we brought Thad Mata, I came with Skip Prosser. Skip was the head coach when I arrived there. Skip left. I hired Thad. We also brought in Sean Miller from North Carolina State as our associate head coach. He actually moved into the head coaching position while I was over in development for those 2 years, but I worked with Sean for his last 3, and then I hired Chris Mack, who's now currently the head coach.
Hello, Ms. Bobinski.
Yes.
My name's Shayla Bivens.
Hey, Shayla.
I'm the president of the Student Athlete Advisory Board. Oh. And on behalf of myself and my peers, we just want to welcome you to Georgia Tech, and we can't wait to start working with you.
Awesome. Thank you very much. We had a chance with the basketball committee 2 nights ago to meet with the National Student Athlete Advisory Council down in Dallas, and it was awesome. And we talked a lot about how they work individually on their campus with their athletic directors. So I look forward to meeting all of you and working together with you also. Thanks for saying hello. Thank you. Thank you all. Really appreciate it. Look forward to being here.
Don't go away.
Oh, sure.
But before we stop, I'd like to invite Steve Zelnick up. He's got a little presentation to make here.
Uh-oh. They never tell you about everything. They never tell you the whole story.
No, we didn't give him any warning on this one. President Peterson and I put our heads together, and obviously we want to see Mike get off to the best possible start when he hits the ground here in April. So we thought he ought to have a primer that would help him do that. So I'm here to present to you with this little tome, which will teach him how to speak Southern.
Thank you, Steve. Appreciate it, and I'll need it. Thank you very much. Appreciate it, everybody. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Mike. Appreciate it very much.